Farm Bureau fights a Department of Labor proposal that would restrict the ability of young people under the age of 16 from working on farms.
In many instances, family farms are multi-generational operations where parents teach their children responsibility and valuable skills that they may use when they are grown. But the Labor Department has issued a proposal that would fundamentally change how it interprets the parental exemption for family farms and greatly restrict youth's ability to work with tractors and other farm equipment, as well as livestock. During Arkansas Farm Bureau's County President's Tour, Senator John Bozeman, a member of the Senate Ag Committee, addressed the farm leaders and says this is another example of a regulatory agency out of control.
There's just no common sense to it. It appears that the people that wrote the rule don't have any concept of rural America. They don't understand what farming's all about. And so we're going to be working very hard, Republicans and Democrats, to push back and defeat it actually going forward.
Columbia County President Bruce Malloch is a businessman and rancher from Magnolia. A former state FFA president, Malloch's son and daughter have followed in his footsteps in leading the Arkansas chapter. They raised and showed livestock in competitions and learned important skills on their farm. Malloch says the proposed rule has serious ramifications.
But one of the problems for that is more and more, as we have fewer and fewer farms, we have young people that may want to work on a grandparent's farm, they may want to work on an uncle's farm, or that farm may be owned by a corporation that's jointly owned, and that, as I understand it, does away with the parental exemption. So it's important. We're not just out there trying to take advantage of child labor. We're teaching our kids responsibility. It's one of the reasons that I still farm, even though I have an off-farm job. It was to raise my kids and teach them that.
Malloch says the regulatory process has practically eliminated the checks and balances that's supposed to exist between federal agencies and Congress, and that needs to change.
I call it legislating oftentimes by regulation, where Congress doesn't actually approve. They may pass a law, and then the agencies, through regulations, seem to expand on that so many times. And I think they've done that here in many cases, but what we need is some limitations on that regulation to make certain that it doesn't expand beyond what our actual child labor laws are. And any time that there is a change in the regulation, that there is certainly adequate notice, adequate time for public hearing, so the people can get to their congressmen, can get to their public officials, and let them know what kind of impact this has. Many times they do not see both sides of the story, and we need to make certain that we tell ours.
Legislation has been introduced in both the House and Senate that explicitly prevents the Secretary of Labor from finalizing or enforcing the proposed regulations. The House bill, H.R. 4157, the Preserving America's Family Farm Act, has been referred to the House Committee on Education and Workforce.